Cuba traigo el son ritmo sabroso. De Cuba dulce caña y rico ron.
Welcome back, explorers. I'm Dr. Moby the Explorer, and today I have a special guest with me that's going to talk about Cuba with me because she stayed much longer than I did, and she did more than I did in Cuba when I went. This is Alisha. Alisha and I met through church, and then we just clicked and traveled to Ghana together. I don't know, did we do any other trips together? Was it just Ghana?
It was just Ghana because the trip to Dubai,
Okay.
I waited too late.
Right. So she entrusted me.
I missed out on Dubai.
Yeah. So she entrusted me with her Ghana experience, but she is an explorer as well. If you have not checked out our video about her experience in Colombia, I'll put it somewhere on the screen, and so make sure you check that out. I forgot to say it in the last video, but you are a Zeta.
Yes, I am.
And so she's the third Zeta that's been on with me. And so have I left out anything about you?
No, I think you got everything.
Okay. So tell us, where did you go when you went to Colombia? No, I'm sorry. Cuba. Cuba. Yes.
Okay, so Cuba, I went to Havana. That was the main bulk of the trip. And then also went to, I want to say it's pronounced, but Vanales. It's a tobacco farm. And it's about 2 hours away from Havana. Also went to Santa Maria. That's a beach area.
Okay.
So I did spend a few hours on the beach. And the city that we stayed in, we actually stayed outside of Havana, and it's called Colhamar, and I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing that wrong, but it's a small fisherman town that I stayed in.
No problem. We'll put the names of the places that you went, because we know that when this pandemic is over and we get a new leader, we're going to be open to go to Cuba again. And so you're going to want to know where to go and what to do.
Oh, yeah.
So what are some of the things you did in Cuba?
What didn't I do? That is the question. What didn't I do in Cuba? I created a full agenda. I mean, it was packed with things to do in Cuba. Spent a lot of time in Havana. Took salsa lessons, which I absolutely recommend. Yeah, everybody do. You gotta take salsa lessons. Okay. When I do my trips, I base a lot of my vacations around food. So a lot of the restaurants that I went to, the food is absolutely amazing there.
Okay.
The trip to the tobacco farm, that was great. Was able to, roll the tobacco, smoke the tobacco, all of that. Went to a cave, was able to tour an underground cave. Had this big rat on my arm. It was huge. Don't ask me why I did it. It was creepy, but it was fun at the same time.
Okay.
Rode around in the little cocoa taxis, which is fun. Spent time down at their market. It was a great time.
Okay.
It was a great time.
So I'm always interested in culture when I travel to different countries. And again, I only went to Cuba and went to Havana. So I didn't get to really observe or learn. That was for the next trip I planned, but that didn't happen. New leadership. But did you observe Afro-Cubans? Did you have any?
You did.
Okay.
Yep. So there is a lot of Afro-Cubans there. There's a lot of rich history when it comes to Afro-Cubans. One thing that I did recognize when I was there is a divide between the lighter skinned Cubans and some of the darker skinned Cubans. So there is a divide when it comes to that. There was also a divide when you have the African Americans that come and visit, and some of the lighter skinned Cubans. We witnessed, I didn't experience this, but we did witness a situation where like an argument, they didn't fight, almost fought, took place at a bus stop with an American and a local about getting on the bus. I was like, oh wow, what is going on here? They were about to fight.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and because I noticed, I just kind of looked around, and I had a tour guide in Havana, and I asked questions, and he did not identify as Afro-Cuban, but he did talk about Afro-Cuban, and he did mention that there's really a difference, right? It's almost like a class system, but it's also based on your skin complexion as well. One of the things I also noticed that Cuban pride, right? So we over in America would think that they're oppressed, and because that's the messaging that we've received. And I noticed a young lady walking with socks that had Cuba on it. And as you spoke to people, you saw, and if you talk to people, which I try to talk to several people, there was this pride in being Cuban, right? So all of the, and I didn't feel, I felt welcomed in the places that we went to. I really felt welcome.
I did too.
How did you stay in an Airbnb?
So I did stay in the Airbnb. So in Cuba, they do not have a lot of hotels. If I'm not mistaken, they have, I want to say 2, but it's really hard to book those. So you will want to stay in the Airbnb. That's how you support the locals in Cuba. A lot of them open up their homes there. And like I mentioned, I stay in like a fisherman's town. Beautiful, beautiful view of the water. Like we were right off the water. I woke up every morning and I was able to walk out on the balcony and just look. It was absolutely beautiful. My host was extremely friendly, very helpful. She cooked breakfast for us every morning. She asks us every day, what time do you want to have breakfast? And so she would make a traditional Cuban meal in the morning for us. So good. I can taste it now. I want to go back. It was so good.
What was it?
Oh my gosh, it was a lot of fruit, some eggs, some rice, Cuban coffee. So good. I didn't even have to put sugar in this coffee.
Really?
Now you'll probably be awake all day drinking it. It's strong.
It's strong.
It was so strong, but it was so good. So just their traditional breakfast. There's so much. I mean, we had breakfast every morning when we were there. Even right before we left, she made us breakfast.
Okay. So it was 2 women, right? It was two of you, right? Was it 2 females?
Yeah, myself and my cousin.
So how did you feel safety-wise as 2 Black females moving about on your own in Cuba?
We felt pretty comfortable. One, our host did a lot of the arrangements when it came to transportation. Okay. And so our host, he's a taxi driver. So he picked us up from the airport and brought us to his home. And then when we did our tours, he helped book a company for us to, tour us around the city as far as in the vehicle. After that, we will just walk everywhere else. So extremely comfortable. We walked during the day, we walked during the night. And then we connected with another local taxi driver, and they have those old school vehicles. And so he took us around for a couple of days, dropped us off, he'll stay, and then, we'll get back in the car with him when we were, traveling far out, but really comfortable. We walked the city and we did not have any problems. And I think there, if I'm not mistaken, they get in trouble if they are caught harassing a visitor, like a tourist, that come into their town. If I'm not mistaken, they do have tougher penalties when it comes to that. So they just leave you be.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when we're opened up as Americans and we're able to travel to Cuba, because I just have hope that I'm going to be able to go back. Be comfortable with knowing that an Airbnb is a possibility. Most people that I know that have gone and stayed for any length of time, they have gone on the Airbnb. Cruising, I cruised to Cuba, and we stayed for 2 days. But I think that it's listening to your story. It's easy. It's okay to do an Airbnb and you can feel safe. Again, I'm really big on the messaging that we receive in America about other countries that are not our allies. It's not what you think. You didn't experience the problem. The 2 days that I was in Cuba, I never experienced anything. In fact, the people were friendly and open. Our tour guide was very honest, and I was on a tour with Blacks as well as whites and Europeans. And he put it out there. He didn't sugarcoat anything. He talked about the differences in ethnicities. Because how do you feel about the dollar? Did it stretch?
So for the dollar there, so in Cuba, you have to exchange your money. They do not accept any American dollars. And they have 2 forms of currency there. They have the CUC, and that's typically for travelers. And then they have the CUP, but that's for the locals. And it's dollar for dollar. So $1 CUC is $1 US. So it was a match. You definitely have to make sure you take enough money with you there, because you cannot use your ATM machine. They're the ATM. It will not work there. Even though they have the ships come in, you cannot use their ATM to get money. Right. So if you run out of money, you run out of money. And that happened to me. I ran out of money.
Really?
I did. I miscalculated how, well, actually, I think I overspent. But it was like the day before our last day, and I literally ran out of money. And I was so grateful. I was in a restaurant. It was our last night there. I was in a restaurant, and it was a lady there, and she was a solo traveler. And we connected with her and just talking, and I asked her, I said, well, do you know any places around here that I can exchange some money? Like, I need some money. And she said, no, but here you go. And she gave me some money so I can get through the rest of my night.
Oh, wow.
And get back to the airport. Yeah. When I said I ran out of money, I ran out of money. I was like, can somebody send me some money here and I can pick it up? No.
But see, that's the beauty in traveling. You get to meet people, other people who's nice, who have no ill intention. And that was really helpful of her to do that. So we talked about the food, we talked about the dollar. I do remember I did a lot of shopping in those 2 days that I was there. I did. Yeah, bought a lot of stuff. I noticed everything you have to embrace yourself anytime you're traveling to a developing country, because if you know the history of Cuba, it's almost like Haiti in that they've had so many sanctions and embargoes and blockages that there's just a lot of things they don't have. And so you have to get ready for things are not all new and shiny. But however, what they do have, they preserved. Even the vehicles are preserved. So, and I noticed that even in interacting with people, you can honestly tell that it's not about the material. It's about family and culture and pride. They didn't and that's something that we can learn, is that it's not always about the financial, how much money you have. That does not have to stop your happiness, your joy, or your peace. Because Cuba is one of those countries who have really gone through some trying times because of the outside world blocking them out, which is sad. Yet come with the mindset that you're going to leave the West at home, and I'm going to come with this slate to experience a new culture, a new country. That's what you have to do anytime you're traveling. But especially in Cuba, for those 2 days that I was there on the cruise ship, I noticed that things, even in Havana, which is the capital, was old. The buildings were old. There was a newer hotel, a new white, beautiful hotel in the city center. But for the most part, things were old. And I hope that we pray for our fellow Cubans that are in Cuba, not talking about the ones in Florida, but in Cuba, because they're going through some hard times with gasoline shortages, and there's a lot going on that island. So would you advise anyone, when we're able to travel, would you advise people to travel, females especially, Black women?
Yes, highly, highly, highly recommend traveling to Cuba. Like you mentioned, have an open mind. They don't have all the resources that we have here in the States. And that's one thing when I traveled with my cousin, and when we got there, for her, it was a culture shock. You couldn't flush the toilet so many times. We had to walk up in our Airbnb. We had to walk up this windy staircase to get to our unit. You're not going to find a lot of elevators there. So you're going to have to be comfortable with walking up, but a lot of the hosts will help you too, but walking up the steps to your Airbnb. You just have to be open-minded when it comes to that. Experience them, immerse yourself in their culture, learn. Enjoy the food that they have there. It was absolutely, for me, I want to go back.
Me too. I'm going back once they open up.
It's on my list to go back because I felt like there is so much more that I can experience when I'm here. I just felt like I wasn't there long enough. I need another week to go back to Cuba. I highly recommend staying in the inner city, like Havana. Okay. Like I said, I stayed in an old fisherman's town, so I was about 15 minutes away, but that's costly when it comes to your taxi. Okay. So, you have to keep going in and out. You definitely want to stay in the inner city to where you don't have to take a taxi to a lot of places like I did. But if you want to enjoy just a quiet town, beautiful view of the water, go to, one of the outer. Cuba, it was top on my list as far as adventures for me. I would definitely go again.
Yeah, I'm with you. I would definitely go back. Let me thank Miss Alisha. Thank you very, very much for spending your time and sharing your experience with us. Thank you for sharing your Colombia and your Cuba experience with us.
You're more than welcome. Thank you for inviting me on your platform. I really appreciate it.
Hey, listen, all we want to do is learn from you. Hopefully you can learn from us. So together we can grow and glow. People, be blessed.